Did you know that 7 out of 10 leaders are burned out right now? Not struggling, not a little stressed, burned out. And that's from the DDI's Global Leadership Forecast. And by the way, it's one of the most comprehensive leadership studies on the planet. And that number, this should be disturbing to you, has gone up every single year since 2020. And that means that the person that's leading your team might be running on empty. That means you might be running on empty. And if you're leading a sales team, maybe a branch, maybe a company, maybe a division, you're running on empty. And I'm going to tell you right now that your people feel it every single day. Hi, I'm Casey Blade Cunningham, and I have spent the last 25 years training top sales professionals, top leaders throughout this country. And today I want to talk to you about something that nobody wants to admit. Leadership burnout is real. It is everywhere, and it is quietly destroying the performance on teams across this country. And if it's you, it's quietly destroying your team. Stay with me if you don't mind, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to just tell you the problem. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do about it. All right, let's talk about why this is happening for just a minute. The last 5 years have been brutal for leaders. If you think about it, if you've been leading a sales team over the past 5 years, you know what relentless pressure feels like, right? The markets are shifting, the numbers have swung, good people are leaving, and your team looked to you for all the answers, even when you didn't have them. But you had to stand there, you had to stay calm, you had to keep everybody moving forward. And I'm going to guess that nobody asked you, hey, how are you doing? And here's what I see all the time when I'm working with teams around this country. The leader is the last one to admit they're struggling. Why? Because we think it's our job to absorb everyone else's stress. Like we're the shock absorber, if you will, and that we have to have all the answers and we can't show weakness. But here's the brutal truth. That isn't leadership. That's just self-sabotage. Because see, self-sabotage, it doesn't scale. And the research has found that something is making this even worse. Leaders are saying that the number one source of their stress isn't the market. It's not even the numbers. It's not even the quotas. It's the people they lead. See, people are more anxious right now than ever. And you probably feel it, right? They need more from their leaders than ever before. The fear of AI taking jobs, what's going on in the economy, the pressure to perform in a world that's just not going to stop changing, all of that is landing on your desk. And if you haven't filled your own tank, you don't have anything left to give them. So here's what burned out leadership looks like. When the leaders burned out, they just stopped coaching. They stopped having the hard conversations, and unfortunately, they let mediocre performance just slide. Why? Because they just don't have the energy to address it, and they go from being really proactive to unfortunately reactive. And they stop casting vision. They just try to survive the week. And I'm going to tell you now, the team feels it. Your top performers, they're going to start looking around. They're going to start wondering, is this the right place to be? Because high performers don't leave bad markets. They leave bad leadership environments. Now, here's the stuff that keeps me up at night. The leaders who are burned out are usually the ones who care the most. They're not burned out because they stopped caring. They burned out because they care so much and they're giving everything they have and nobody's told them it's just not sustainable. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I know you've heard that before, but I need you to actually believe it, because right now, a lot of you are trying to pour from a cup that's been empty for 6 months. So what do you do about it? Let me help you. I'm going to give you 3 things, simple, practical, that you can start doing today. All right, number 1, I want you to protect your inputs. Every leader I know who's performing at a high level has protected their inputs fiercely, and I mean fiercely. So what goes into your mind first thing in the morning matters. What you read, who you talk to, what you listen to on the way to work, those are inputs. And most burned out leaders have let their inputs unfortunately go to garbage. They're consuming news, sound familiar? Ingesting social media stress, and they're literally taking on other people's problems before they've even had a cup of coffee. I want to encourage you, guard your morning, feed your mind before anyone else gets to it. Number 2, get back in the game with your people, but do it differently. Because let me tell you, one of the fastest ways to get out of a burnout spiral is to reconnect with why you became a leader in the first place. Go have that real conversation with someone on your team. Not about numbers, not about pipeline, not about performance. Just Ask them what's going on in their life. Ask them what they're excited about. And then ask them, hey, what's getting in your way? Leadership is a relationship business. You may or may not realize that, but the relationships are the energizing part when they're real. If your one-on-ones have turned into production review, let's talk at project reviews, you've turned people into transactions. Get back to the human part and have fun along the way. All right, number 3, I want you to get a coach or get in a room with other leaders. Now, what do I mean by that? I've said this 1,000 times. High performers in every sport, in every field, they have coaches. Not because they're weak, by the way, but because they're serious. You need an outside voice. You need somebody who's going to challenge your thinking, hold you accountable, and remind you what you're capable of. And the leaders who recover the fastest from burnout are not the ones who are trying to white knuckle their way through it. I am telling you, they're the ones who reach out, who get connected, and who really get poured into. Now, that's not a soft idea, by the way, what I just gave you. That is the highest ROI move a leader can make right now. Now, McKinsey, they just put some numbers on it, by the way. Companies with strong leadership cultures outperform their peers by, are you ready? 3 times in long-term results. 3 times, not 1, not 2, 3. The investment in your leaders isn't a line item, it is your competitive advantage. Look, if you're watching this and you're in that 71%, I see you. And I want you to know that getting your energy back isn't selfish. It is your responsibility. Yes, you own it. Your team needs a full version of you, not the depleted version that's just trying to survive. So here's my ask. Take 5 minutes today and honestly ask yourself, am I leading from a full tank or an empty one? And if it's empty, I want you to pick one of those 3 things I just shared and start right there. Like today, start there. Hey, if this hits home, share it with a leader who needs to hear it. And if you want more content like this every week, just subscribe. And if you want to go deeper, I'm really building a high-performance sales culture. Check out what we're doing at Zenix. The link is in the description. I'm Casey Blade Cunningham. Let's go lead.